Hey everyone, Value Add Mike here today to discuss how to understand a submarket. For those who don't know, my name's Value Add Mike Taravella, and I've closed over $65 million in commercial real estate in multifamily with my partners across the country, and I really am passionate about understanding a certain market because it's critical when you take your hard-earned money and invest in it into an area and with an operator that you as a passive investor need to understand that market. So in this video, I'm definitely not going to go through the critical ways like everyone else of Googling statistics. These are going to be a little more intricate ways and creative ways to really make sure you understand where you are investing. So the first thing that I don't hear many people on podcasts discuss is calling the police department. So when calling the police department, you're really not necessarily looking for statistics, but you're generally trying to get some sort of boots on the ground approach to see, is the police department familiar with the property, crimes in the area, and just really understanding what that submarket looks like. From personal experience, it's really bad if the police department laugh, chuckle, or are very familiar with the property. That generally means that they're going out to the property a lot. It's a very high crime area. And so it's just super important that you, when you're investing in properties, is large sums of money that you can make sure you truly understand where your money is going to. It's never safe to assume your operator is doing this, but always good to get a second outside perspective when doing it. And so I've done this on a lot of the deals that we've closed to really just making sure that we understand the area and making sure that we just feel comfortable with it. And the question I always frame to the department and the people who are boots on the ground is, would you feel comfortable if your mom, dad, sibling, child lived in this area and or community? Because if they don't feel comfortable with it, that means that I may not necessarily feel comfortable with investing. But there's still instances where people have said no, and I've driven the property and it seemed like a good area. But you just always, as a passive investor, trying to find that way that can give you a creative advantage when looking at and doing due diligence on deals. The second thing that I find is super helpful when understanding a particular submarket is getting to know the Chamber of Commerce. So the Chamber of Commerce is really there to help develop the economy and provide incentives to businesses within that particular submarket or market. And so what you want to see out of this particular instance is the chamber growing? What are they using to develop the area? What involvement do they have? A very clear sign that helps, and I'm not trying to judge any community, but if the website looks dated, very boring, not up to speed or up to date, it's very telling of how well they're going to believe in pour money back into their communities. So as you're going through this, first look at the website. Second, I like to call the Chamber of Commerce and just really understand what incentives are going on. How are the local businesses? And even as an operator, I'm looking to join our Chamber of Commerce in our properties locations to really make sure we're not just another investing group to that is going to operate and join. We really want to make an impact with our community to do it. And so that's one way as an investor that we look to really help and grow our communities. And so the last tool we use when looking at markets is Reddit. Now, believe it or not, Reddit is it's an anonymous source. Still kind of hard to figure out which way all the different rabbit holes you can go down. But when we're going into Reddit, we're looking into seeing what are the best places to live, what are the worst places to live. We're trying to see if there's an apartment complex or the target property is on Reddit. So we're just really trying to dive in and to see what submarkets where to be, where not to be, where that path of progress is, because that path of progress is super critical when we're investing, because yes, there's renovations that we do to make sure that the property is doing better, but that path of progress can quickly escalate the property's value by being in that path of progress. So Reddit can be a lot of different things and really learn the community. It's all anonymous. And I think even too, when you're looking at these submarkets, it's really important to understand that if that subreddit doesn't exist for your market, you may be looking at a market that may be too small for you. And that could be problematic because you may not have enough residents who could live there. You may not have enough property managers for your operators to know and operate. And so you can really pigeonhole and stunt the growth of your property by going through that. So super critical when looking at Reddit. Take it with a grain of salt because people can be very keyboard warriors with it, but just understand the trends with it and just really see where the market size is. So those are the 3 tools that you may not see every day when looking at commercial real estate, but I think they're very helpful to understand as a passive investor. And I think it's super critical that you use these and amongst other ones as well. So if you found any value in this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to learn more about investing in the passive route, please subscribe to our investor newsletter and get updates on deals. And until then, we'll see you next time.